Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to do another movie review. Content, don't worry about it, but a movie review. Hope you enjoy it, and thanks for your time. We're going to title this movie, Don't Keep Secrets, Get Help. And I'm just going to tell y'all a little bit about the content that you are watching. This is Bolingbrook, the suburb that I stay in, and I've just captured some of the stores and everything that's out here. Okay, back to my review of this movie I saw. Again, I'm going to name it Don't Keep Secrets, Get Help. So we're going to start off with Miss Taylor. Miss Taylor got married at a young age. I'm going to say between 19, 20. Her and her husband had a couple of kids, and she was a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife, but she was still feeling empty. She wasn't really happy just being a wife and a mother. She said she needed, something else, mainly to talk about. Because when her husband come home, he talks about his day, and pretty much all she has to say is what the kids did. So again, she needed something, I guess, to talk about. So she goes back to school. Her and her husband was in agreement. Okay, go to school. And she went to school to become a counselor because she really did enjoy, helping people. So she became a counselor. So she got a job after, she completed school. And so she, started working. And now she became a counselor at a teen center, which was like, okay with her because she was still young. She was still young. So it was, okay. But now, during these counseling sessions, she did offer, one-on-ones for people that, needed to talk, about their situations or things that they're going through that they couldn't talk about in the group, with other people around. So one day, one of her students, I would say, stayed in the room after the session was over. And he had his head down. So he was kind of upset, So she asked, are you okay? Can I help? And he told her that he's just going through, a lot at home. And he don't know how to handle it by himself. So again, she offered one-on-one counseling session. So I told him, well, if you need to, talk, I'll listen, pretty much. If you just need to get it out, she would listen. So he was like, okay, but he couldn't talk about it that day. So back to work, doing her group sessions. She just let the kids, these were teenagers. She just let them talk. and she would give her input on certain scenarios that they may have, been through or going through. But she still noticed that this one boy, the teenager, we're going to call him Joe. Joe was still like drifting away, thinking and, daydreaming pretty much. So she asked him, she called him, to the front and was like, okay, I have some time today. I could stay over, and we can talk because I noticed, whatever it is still bothering you. And he agreed. So he talked to her and told her that, his father was abusive to his mom. And he wants to protect his mother. But the thoughts that's going through his mind on how he can protect her, it pretty much scared him. Because, he still loved his dad, but he wanted to protect his mom. So her advice to him was talk to your mom and let your mom know, what you're thinking, what you're feeling about, this whole situation. And he said, I can't talk to my mom because his father controls the house. So if he said anything to his mom would tell the father, and then the father would pretty much, come after him. So he feel like he's in a no-win situation. Either he's going to put his life on the line trying to protect his mother, or sit back and let his mother be abused. So she's like, let me, do some research and see if I can find or offer some other type of help, for you. And, he was like, okay. But somehow, Joe started caring about Miss Taylor. Like in a mother, like, okay, she's showing me that she cared. Not that his mother wasn't showing him, but his mother was being controlled by the father. So it was all about the father getting the attention and everything. So his mother was not, I guess, showing him that attentiveness that Miss Taylor was showing him, like she was really concerned and wanted to help him. So the thing is, one thing led to another, and he got a crush on her. Now, mind you, Miss Taylor is married with 2 children. So she tells him, I'm going to have to, get you transferred to another class because this is inappropriate. Not that he did anything, but he did tell her he liked her, and it had passed that motherly feeling. And she had him transferred. She did. She had him transferred out of her group, but he still hung around. After hours, before, he always had something to say to her. He began to start saying, you're so beautiful, and, you're great, building up her confidence and, just trying to make her feel good. Oh, if I didn't tell you, at this time, Miss Taylor was 26 and Joe was 13. But anyway, he kept telling her she's beautiful every morning. Good morning, and looking at her like, inappropriate. But she didn't feed into it. She didn't. It took, I guess, some issues was going on in her marriage now. And again, she had that feeling where she wasn't happy. And so she started listening to Joe, what he was telling her, giving her that attention. It was like, okay, this is what I needed. I need somebody to tell me I'm beautiful, that, I'm valuable, because I'm not getting that, from my husband. Although this is a 13-year-old boy, she still, it was something that she needed. It got to the point where she let him back, into her group, her counseling group, and even started inviting him over, for dinner. Told her husband that she was counseling him, one-on-one, and yeah, because she started to like him too, in an inappropriate way. But okay, supposedly he came over for dinner after hours, after school hours, for the one-on-one sessions. He talked to his parents about it, that, the teacher went over, Miss Taylor went over to Joe's parents and talked to them, like, okay, it'd be easier, this way. And she included her husband, that my husband, could help, maybe talk to him, and get him the help that he need. At first, his father said no, he don't need any help. Somehow she managed to convince him that, it would benefit their whole family if she could counsel him. Anyway, so he goes over to the house, dinner with her and her husband and her 2 children, having dinner. It had become that to a point where he was staying later and later. Dinner was over. The counseling session was over. The husband is in a bed. The kids are asleep. It's just Miss Taylor and Joe sitting up watching TV. And one particular time, Joe made an advance to Miss Taylor. The first time, she didn't do anything. But she did like it that he did, initiate that. But the fact that they were in her home with her husband and her kids, she told him no. But, okay, the next time, she didn't say no. And it was still in their house with her husband and her kids. She did not say no. Right there on the couch with her husband in the bedroom, her kids in another bedroom, and her and Joe right there on the couch. And somehow she fell, I would say, in lust with this 13-year-old boy. It was like she could not get him out of her system, to the point where she was just like wanting to be with him. Actually, more than he wanted to be with her. She started, picking him up, taking him to school. When she dropped her kids off, she had him in the car. Of course, he was spending more time over her house for dinner, supposed to. Oh my goodness, it was getting pretty bad, where her husband was like, what is going on, we don't hardly see you, except for like dinner time when Joe is over. But they would go places where, they would be intimate in the car, the majority of the time in the car, in her car. She'd take him home and always, you know, trying to be the adult, telling his parents, oh, he's making progress, we need to maybe increase this time. And oh my goodness. So everybody thought that she was a helpful person. Well, Joe parents did at that time. But her husband was getting suspicious. And he got to the point where he stopped following her. Because he was like, something just not right. Not that he thought that she would be with this 13-year-old boy, that he thought that maybe it was somebody else, but not this 13-year-old boy. So he follows her, catch her and Joe in the car. In the car, her husband caught them. So he tells her, it was like he could not believe his wife would do something like this. I mean, I can't completely understand. He was so disappointed. Can you imagine your person, if you caught your person with a kid? It's like, because for me, it's like you are your spouse. You become one. Once you get married, you become one. So you be like, how could I have married a person like this? What is going on? And she never told him. Mrs. Taylor never told her husband she was sorry. She told him, if you was a better husband, then I wouldn't be with him. This is a 13-year-old boy. So, he tells her, you're going to jail. You're messing with a minor. You're going to jail, and I'm going to take the kids. Now, she did beg him not to take her kids. She told him, okay, let's work it out. We can work it out, for the kids. She did not want to lose her kids. And he was like, this has to stop. This has to stop. You cannot see this boy anymore. Or I will call the police myself. And I'm going to tell his parents. So he did tell her parents. Joe's parents. And they talked to her and told Joe he cannot be, around her anymore. And if it ever happened again, that they would call the police. But Miss Taylor had Joe in her system. She still snuck around in the car with Joe. And this time again, her husband caught her. And he didn't approach the car. At this time, he calls the police himself. He called the police and tell them what's going on and where they are at this time. And Miss Taylor is arrested. Miss Taylor goes to jail. Miss Taylor loses her kids. Her husband divorced her. Really? I'm like, oh my goodness. So again, this is why I said she fell in lust. It was lust. Like, wow, for me, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, So she goes to jail. She gets out. When she do get out, first thing she do is try to locate Joe. By this time, Joe may be, I want to say, 17, going on 18. Well, 17, because again, she not can't be around kids anymore. She can't. But what she do? She got caught with him again, and she goes back to jail. So she go back to jail, but this time it's not for long, because Joe is almost an adult. Well, almost 18. So when she gets out, she asks Joe to marry her. Why? Because she's pregnant. She's pregnant with Joe, baby. So Joe is still thinking like a kid, right? He still has a kid's mentality, because he felt like he was in love with Miss Taylor as well. So during the time Miss Taylor was in jail, Joe didn't see other women or girls. He waited for her. So they did end up getting married. They got married, and what they did was sold their story. Because, in the beginning, they got a lot of hate mail, and people would not hire her because of her record. And Joe got little odds and end jobs because he didn't go to college, But they sold their story, and they even had a book out. So during the time of getting everything together for their story, right, the person that was going to play them, had to talk to them about a little, what's going on and who they are, how did this happen, how they feel now about things. Listen, during some of these questions that the person that was going to play Miss Taylor was asking was about her upbringing, her childhood and her parents, how she was raised. Because at the same time she's playing this character, she wants to understand how could somebody twice the age of a kid be attracted to them, willing to lose their kids and their husband for a kid. So Miss Taylor had 3 brothers, and she was the only girl. Mother and father was married, and married right to this day at that time of the interview. So she tells her, yeah, my brothers were very protective of me. They always felt that they need to protect me. And if a boy tried to talk to me, they would corner them, and, pretty much she being the girl, the only girl, they felt that they had to protect her. But what had came out was that her 3 brothers had started messing with her at the age of 11. All 3 brothers had been molesting her since the age of 11. She told her parents about it, but the parents said that they would deal with this. It's their house. What goes on in their house, nobody needs to know about it. Again, a secret. This was a secret that Miss Taylor kept and couldn't tell anybody. But instead of her parents telling her to keep it a secret, or it's a secret, it's a family thing, this girl needed some help. She was molested by all three of her brothers. She needed help, not to be told to keep a secret. Because when you have stuff inside you, it eats at you. And it's going to come out some sort of way. Some people, be on drugs, alcohol, they because they got to deal with it. It's like they trying to study bury it, but it's gnawing at them. It's gnawing at them. And this was why she was vulnerable enough to fall for this boy. She was a big kid herself in the mind, and this kid showed her something, I guess, kind of related to what her brothers was doing to her. And at that time, Miss Taylor needed help. Again, it shouldn't have been a secret. So me getting that out of this movie, and maybe that wasn't the key points of the movie, but that's what I got out of it. She needed help. Keeping secrets can hurt you so bad. Mess up your decision making. Again, like I said, you get caught up in stuff you wish you hadn't done, because that stuff is gnawing at you and you don't know how to handle it. You don't know how to get it out. When somebody is going through something, if you know anybody related to this, get the help. Get them some help. Those secrets are damaging. She did nothing wrong, but it was like she had to keep this inside. She done got married, she done had kids, but it was still something wrong. And that was from her childhood. It's sad. It's so sad that this lady went to jail, lost her kids, her husband, her first husband, because her and Joe did get married. And, they had their baby. And the thing is, with Joe's mindset, again, he had the mindset of a kid. Now, even trying to raise their daughter that they had, he was her friend. He didn't really know how to be a father, Yeah, he took care of her, but he was her friend, like kind of hanging with them as friends, not a father-daughter. So when she had company, yeah, he hanging in there with them, playing the games, and he just didn't have that mindset. And this person that was going to play Miss Taylor kind of interviewed him too. And what she did was she talked to him and talked to him and talked to him. And she ended up having an affair with him, or he had an affair with her. Because it was like she got in his mind and told him that maybe he was too young for all of this, that maybe, he wasn't mature enough to make the right decisions, especially about getting married. So he was listening, and, started feeling different. And he tried to talk to Miss Taylor, his wife, about it. He was like, I need you to help me. And he told her that maybe I was too young, what if I made, the wrong decision? What if we're really not happy? I'm thinking we're happy and we're not, So Miss Taylor is so upset, like, where is this coming from? We are happy, and I love you and you love me. And he said, but something is different now, you know. But Miss Taylor could not handle it. So again, she's like, where is this coming from? And he told her that he slept with this lady that's supposed to be playing her in the movie. That they sold their story. So she goes to the lady and tell her, leave my husband alone. This lady is the same age as Joe. And she had said something to Joe, and she said, this is what adults do. But Joe just did not understand that. Like, adults take care of this. Adults have responsibilities. Oh, y'all. The way Joe and Miss Taylor relationship was, Miss Taylor took care of all the household, the bills, and like she would tell him, pretty much like a kid, take a shower before you get in the bed, like, just for instance, he was barbecuing. So she was like, you need to take a shower before you go to bed, as if he didn't know he had to be told these things. It's just sad. And it was like, he never got mad. It was like, okay, this was their relationship. She was kind of the mother figure and his wife. But that's what he knew from a teenager. This was their relationship. Even when they were, in a car, she controlled it. She went to pick him up. Okay, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And he was okay with it. And he stayed that way for years. But now that this lady got to talking to him, someone of his age, he's starting to feel different. And again, Miss Taylor is still in control of their relationship. So she tells him, we're going to be okay. We're still in love. And this is what we're going to do. Pretty much, she's in control. Now, I do feel that Joe was too young to make some decisions, the decisions that he made. He needed to grow up. He needed to experience life. Miss Taylor did not have the best childhood or even adulthood, but she did get to experience some things that Joe didn't. In the end, they stayed together. Miss Taylor held over his head that he cheated on her. Married people don't do that. Again, it's like whatever Miss Taylor say, that's the way it is, because that's what he know. So they stayed married. Their kids even went off to college. Now, Joe is in that place that he was when Miss Taylor first met him. He lost. He found himself daydreaming, thinking, drifting about the decisions that he made. And now, Joe needs some help on decision making, or even if he wants to stay in this marriage. But that help don't need to come from Miss Taylor, because right now, that's all he getting, what Miss Taylor says, the help that Miss Taylor is giving him, his wife, and his kids. Although now with the kids, they are catching it because people are talking. They're still talking. Your mother, is this, that. Your father is a child. Your daddy is a kid, So they catching it. Again, these secrets, don't keep secrets. Get the help. Get the help. I'm going to end this video. And I hope y'all enjoyed it. Again, when I do reviews on movies that I saw, I want to talk about what I got out of it. Because, it, I see things differently, I guess. And again, it's a way of talking, right? And y'all may not like the content, but it's about me talking. So, again, I hope y'all enjoy it. And let me know your thoughts about this movie. Again, don't keep secrets. Get help.